Hey guys, and welcome back to the Thick Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Andy.
This is Kobe.
It
And
is.
I'm Carlos.
And he's Carlos. Thank you for joining us yet again on TBM. That's not the initials. Thick Boys Media.
Yeah, TBM.
Full circle. This week we have a little update for you guys about our first episode. We had talked about the 2005 movie Bad News Bears, and in between that time something happened. What happened, Carlos?
Okay, so one correction. I think we talked about in the first podcast about how Bad News Bears came out after Benchwarmers.
Yeah.
And it actually came out before.
Really?
Yeah.
I swore Benchwarmers was like 04 or something.
Well,
Damn, okay.
it came out after. Because we were shitting on Bad News Bears, like, wow, way to copy Benchwarmers.
Way to fucking suck.
When it was, in fact, Benchwarmers that came out after.
Yeah.
So, the update is, while I was editing the first podcast, I decided to take a look at the 1970s Bad News Bears trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, oh boy, does it have some interesting language.
So, it was too good not to watch instantly. Carlos is like, you have to watch it. So we watched it. But for your benefit, we're all going to watch it together on the podcast today.
And one thing that I want to point out is that the Bad News Bears remake was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
And the Bad News Bears original movie from 1970s was rated PG.
Yeah.
So, alright, yeah.
Alright.
There is no limit to what some men will do for money, especially a man like Morris Buttermaker.
No, I really appreciate this. It's just a damn shame that none of the fathers had the time for it. God knows if I wasn't so busy down at City
You got
Hall,
my
I'd
check,
be busy.
Whitewood? Even if it meant coaching...
Decent setup. You know, they're doing some narration.
It looks
You're
good.
just like, alright, it's a 70s movie. It's got one of the grumpier old men in it.
By the way, isn't that guy that plays Buttermaker the same guy from Dennis the Menace, the neighbor?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I'm pretty
a good
sure
movie.
he's one of the grumpy old men.
Yeah, he's
From
the grumpy neighbor.
Yeah.
Dennis the Menace.
And from the Odd Couple.
Ball, the Bad News Bears. It was a team of
I don't know anything.
superstars like Mike Engelberg, Rudy Stein, Reggie Tower, Ahmad Abdul-Rahim, the incomparable Ogle.
That's nice, you know. It's the 70s, and they're getting a somewhat diverse cast, you know. Like, they're making some efforts.
Timmy Lupus, Kelly Leak, the Aguilar brothers. With a team like this, there is only one way you can go.
Cups and supporters. Gotta be one at all times.
For 13-year-olds? This older gentleman is a bit too interested in the condition of these kids' crotches.
I actually had some horror stories of just, like, not wearing your cup. Like,
Really?
dude, like, people got, like... I mean, I played Little League before age of 13. Like, I think by the time I was, like, 12 or 11,
Yeah.
I was done. I played for, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
But, like, quite a few kids got, like, line drives to the nuts. Or, like, you go to field a ground ball that the coach is, like, hitting to you in practice, and because you're an idiot, you field it terribly. It hits your hand, or it hits the ground, and then all of a sudden just bounces up and hits you in the nuts.
Oof.
It's bad. And then I had another friend of mine who
Bad
played...
News Bears?
I had a friend of mine that played lacrosse.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that his goalie didn't wear a cup. And this was high school lacrosse.
Yeah.
And he just, like, took a shot right to the nuts, and he was just, like, done. Like, it was... I think he said he, like,
He's
ruptured...
in the hospital still.
He, like, ruptured a nut. Like, it was bad.
He busted.
So, always wear a cup, kids.
Yes, if anything, because Bad News Bears 1976 tells you so.
Yeah.
Well, either you wear them, get that way. Either you wear them or you don't play.
Walter Matthau is Morris Buttermaker, a
Walter
man
Matthau,
so
yeah.
desperate to make a buck that he did the unforgivable. He put a girl on the team.
Boys, I'd like you to meet your new pitcher. Amanda Wurlitzer.
Jews fix niggers and now a girl? Why with that, punk?
What was that? Can we... Let's roll that back a little bit.
On the team.
Boys, I'd like you to meet your new pitcher, Amanda Wurlitzer.
Jews fix niggers and now a girl?
So, this movie is rated PG. I don't even think we need to finish the rest of it.
Like,
I don't have a beer to swig this time.
the kid turns to his, like, teammates, one of which is the black
In
kid.
earshot!
The black kid teammate is, like, he's literally, like, 2 feet from him, and he just says that. And
Yeah.
I think his Jewish teammate is also probably within earshot.
Yeah.
So, like, whoever it is, these teammates that he's just talking shit on, he's just like, they're right there, and they're like, all right, man. Like,
Yeah, just like, okay.
and the
Like,
coach is probably like, yeah, man, I get it. I get your frustration.
Times are tough.
I get your concerns. I'm not too happy about it either, but we gotta get some W's out there. Like,
We gotta get them dubs. What I kind of want to give the benefit of the doubt because it's like the Blazing Saddles era. It was like, yeah, we're pushing the edge, but also it's like that's the only one I know of so far. Like, and it's just like it's either self-aware and it's hilarious, or it's not self-aware and it's dark.
I want to say that, like, I get that times have changed.
Yeah.
And we can't, like, obviously I'm not going, like, this is an outrage. We need to reach out to whoever these writers were and, like, we should call for their jobs. Like, no, I get that, like, times have changed.
Yeah.
Like, if they wrote this script today, I'm 100% sure they would not include that line. But I just like that, like, back then they were like, yeah, like, look at this progressive team. Now let's slap that line in there for a good laugh.
To quote a recent memory comedy setup, I love that word.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, I mean,
so that's the trailer. It's peaked. We're gonna set that to the side for now. But Carlos, I actually have something a story
story time.
pertaining to movies.
I always like a good story.
So, I recently started working on a television show as a PA and stuff, and I've got pretty consistent work and stuff. And you're talking to crew members, you're getting to know your new coworkers and everything. And this person who I work with in a similar type of position, she's been in the industry, thank you, for several years. She's from Bosnia, and so she's got a lot of background and everything. And she's telling, because the position we're in is kind of like assistant to this higher up person and everything.
Oh, is this the assistant to the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for legal reasons, I can't say what it is, but
Just know you can catch it on television.
yes,
What if I just
that's
knew the
very
schedule?
true. That's very true.
I just said the schedule.
7 p.m. Central. No. So I'm talking with this production assistant, and she's like, "Yeah, I've worked for a lot of different people." And I'm like, "Oh, who's like the biggest name? And like, who's your favorite?" And she's like, "Favorite is the side, but the biggest name would be Richard Gere." And I'm like, "That's really cool. Like, when was that?" And she's like, "Well, back in Bosnia, he was shooting a film over there, and I got put on as his assistant. I found out that he had 8 other assistants before me, and I was pretty much brought on near the tail end." I was like, "Well, what's that about?"
Please don't make this a moment where we expose something dark about Richard Gere.
Just wait. So, it's nothing dark about Richard Gere. Turns out he's just kind of a dick,
Oh, okay. I can deal with that.
He would ask a lot of his assistants. For instance, she said that while she was working for him, he called her up at 2 a.m. demanding sushi in Bosnia. And she's like, "Okay, one, There's 2 sushi places in this whole country. I've lived here.
So go get it.
Yeah. Number 2, I'm not your slave. I'm not gonna go do that. Like, I need sleep just like anybody else. And I'm like, oh yeah, wow, that's wild. Like, she's like, yeah, another actor was also on that set, Terrence Howard. I was
Dude, love Terrence Howard.
like, he's pretty good. Or so I thought.
Oh.
She's telling me how he kind of was a different breed than how you see him. Well, she leaves Bosnia, and, obviously the project wraps up and everything, but she's not really giving many details about the Terrence Howard thing. I'm like,
T-How?
She comes here to Chicago. She works on one of the many Chicago shows that film here. And just so happens that Terrence Howard is also starring in the show that she's working on.
Is it Empire?
I think so.
Yeah, isn't Terrence Howard in Empire?
Yes.
I think so.
I mean, no.
I don't know if that's outing him.
TMZ, TBM. Should we do this skate where the TMZ guys are like lounged over there, just like, so we found Terrence Howard acting on Empire. Whoa, big scandal.
Oh God.
They're getting riled up. So she's telling me that Lona. She's telling me that she's working with Terrence Howard, and she's kind of like purposely dodging, like talking to him. Like they're kind of like separate departments. He's like completely talent for Empire,
okay.
and she's working on. I think she's producing like for this portion. So she's hanging back and stuff, and eventually he comes over and starts making conversation. He's like, "I know you, don't I?" And then they start to talk. And
wait, like he came up to her and said that?
Yeah, just like
he was like, "I know you, don't I?"
And then recognized her.
Okay.
And I was like, "What do you have against Terrence Howard? Why would you kind of act so odd? Like, I mean, granted he's a dick, but also like," and she's like,
"I really held it against him that he didn't come back for the Iron Man sequel."
Like, that was as if it was his choice. He was totally cut. Next time, baby. So she informs me that, he's a famous actor. He, happened to hit on one of her best friends who just wasn't really into it, and it got a little weird. And also, he bought a lot of hookers and drugs while in Bosnia, and just
Dude, why are you outing Terrence Howard right now?
Because you got mad about Richard Gere, but what about Terrence Howard? Like, Terrence Howard really likes hookers and drugs in foreign countries. Fun fact.
I mean, okay. I'm not supporting his actions, nor am I condemning him.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, why are you using this platform to just out Terrence Howard?
Put me on Empire. I need work from November on.
Watch, you're gonna get a chance on Empire or something. They're gonna
him.
call you, and then like he's gonna see you, and he's like, "I know you.
I know you.
You're the guy on the Thick Boys Media podcast that outed me for my hookers and like drug use."
You never even gave me a chance. You could have asked me on. I would have come.
Which, by the way, Tom Hanks, we'd love you have you on the podcast.
Yeah,
as our guest.
We know you watch us daily.
Right.
Our whole 2 episodes.
So
Yeah.
If you're interested, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, and if you want, you can also run our Patreon.
That still isn't up.
Yeah, not contribute towards it. Literally, I want you for the IT of it. Yeah, so Terrence Howard does that.
All right,
pretty fun time. If I'm not mistaken, this portion of the show is dedicated to a next part on Twitter. About a certain thing that may or may not be true, where Disney, now owning the rights to 20th Century Fox, technically also owns the rights to the Home Alone franchise. And there was a rumor that they're gonna reboot Home Alone. And
wait, it was a rumor? I saw the tweet, and I just assumed like, oh, I guess Disney announced they're rebooting it.
I don't know. Like, I would have thought that I would have saw more than just a tweet.
Tweet.
So that's where my general like comments come in, because it's like, are you gonna bring back Macaulay Culkin? Are we gonna have a fun little retro wave thing going? What's gonna happen? But also, people started shitting on the sequels. They're just like, too many unnecessary Home Alone sequels as is.
Yeah.
And too many reboots. It's like
I'll pull up the tweet right here.
Yeah.
Right there. So I got some issues.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to shit on Home Alone 3, I will support your decision to do that.
I haven't even been seeing.
I didn't know there was a 4.
There's a 4 and a 5, I think.
Anything after
But
Home Alone 3, I haven't seen. I think I enjoyed Home Alone 3 when I first saw it, but I haven't seen it recently.
Yeah.
So if you want to shit on it, more power to you. You probably know a little bit more about film than I do. But I will not take the slander against Home Alone 2 because I might go out on a limb and say it was better than the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fully commit to that. But the second one is a whole other movie compared to the first one.
Yeah.
Whereas the third one, and I'm assuming the fourth and the fifth, are just doing the same thing that the first one did, just with the new kid and I don't know, like the second one, as far as sequels to movies go, like they brought something new.
Well, yeah.
They brought back the classic, traps and tower defense.
Yeah.
This is where tower defense came from. I don't know.
I just imagine it now. I'm just being a kid playing Balloons, the game on addictinggames.com. Being like, this is fun, right? This is Home Alone.
Yeah. So I saw that tweet and I was upset. I didn't really voice my concern because I'm just not that kind of guy. But the second one
was solid, and I think sequels of that era, they knew what they were, but they played around with it. For instance, Back to the Future Part 2. It kind of is similar. Pretty much the same movie. Gets sent to a time period, has to get back, has to figure out the main problem. Although that's just a movie plot device in general. And Home Alone 2, it's we're going to take this concept, somehow write in that he has a whole house to himself in New York City. And also, credit card fraud is just enough of not a thing yet, so he's able to commit it. He's like, I'm charging my way there, baby!
Well, it was the second one, he's in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then he's, exploring New York. Runs into Donald Trump.
That's true.
Before we were all Donald Trump.
Down the hall and to the left.
But then, he runs into that homeless lady, the bird lady. Then he goes to, the factory.
He was also in Angels in the Outfield.
Was she?
Yeah, she played the foster mom.
There you go.
That was a pretty 90s-centric mother.
But yeah, I mean, it was
figure.
The first one was... The first Home Alone movie was really cool because it was to be home alone as a kid, all the things that you want to do.
It's not as good as I thought it would be, but also it is.
Yeah, you're eating junk food, you're watching violent movies, you're just living it up at home.
Building
then
depression.
They took that concept and they're like, now what if you were a kid and you could do anything you wanted in New York City?
In the biggest city of the world.
That was... Come on.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think it's ridiculous that
I think whoever tweeted it out is just maybe a hater of sequels in principle. Maybe they're like, when you make one movie, don't just make another one just to cash it in. And maybe it started as a cash grab, the second one, but they ended with a product that I think most people can appreciate.
They brought back Chris Columbus to direct it again, so it's is it really cash grab? Because they brought the original visionary.
The third one...
Completely different.
I haven't seen
completely
it in so
different.
long.
In name only.
I haven't seen the third one in so long. I can't defend it. I can't attack it. I've never seen the fourth or fifth one, but just from the posters, I was maybe it looks like it's one of those movies that you play for your kids and then you walk away because you don't want to watch it yourself.
Yeah.
Home Alone and Home Alone 2, if I ever showed my kids, is a movie that I would stay to watch because I'm these are enjoyable films.
Yeah.
But then the fourth and the fifth one, I'd be like, all right, well, I gotta go do some coke.
Because that's what we do in our downtime. So, that being said, now it comes a time in the show where it's time for our
Is that two?
our appearance by our special guest, Luna.
Come here.
Luna, come on the show.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for showing your butt. Welcome. Oh, that's a good
And you're
girl.
just in time to hear about our first sponsor of the day.
Ooh.
Carlos, who would that be?
So, oh look, Luna's like licking my knee. Thank you for that. So, bad news is that she's still licking my arm. Thank you. The clan, Unicycle Clan, dropped us.
Oh.
They didn't like our poking fun at the fact that their name is eerily similar to a very bad group.
Which group would that be?
The Ku Klux Klan. I have no fear in going out on a limb. I have no fear in going out on a limb and alienating any fans of ours that happen to be in the Klan. You're all pieces of shit. So
I thought you were about to support.
No.
I was just like, for the bit?
No. So yeah, the Unicycle Clan dropped us. They did want us to say they do not support the Klan.
Yeah.
So yeah, but luckily, our wonderful producers of this show rushed when they heard the news that we lost a sponsor, and they got us a new sponsor.
Who's our sponsor?
So huge shout out to our new sponsor, Uber Sleep. Listen, how many times have you been alone in your room, late at night,
Yeah.
and the harsh realities of life and crippling depression are preventing you from sleep? Well, boy, oh boy, let me tell you, we have the product and service for you.
Oh, yeah?
Uber Sleep lets you order a driver to come outside of your house. He'll pick you up
Okay.
in the late night.
He?
Or she.
That's boy, I like it.
Women can drive just as well as men, if not better.
Let's go with the safety them.
Them. They, the driver, will, by Luna, will come and pick you up. They'll drive you around until you sleep. And then they'll drive you back home. And
So
they'll
it's
carry
like-
you to bed.
It's like you're a baby again.
It's like you're a baby
Yeah,
again.
you
I mean,
drive
can you
to
do
sleep.
you remember those good old days when you were falling asleep in your parents' car and they'd carry you to bed? Well, now some stranger who you've never met can carry you to bed, give you a nice kiss on the forehead, look,
Just like we do with Luna every night.
tuck you in. They'll set the alarm for your house.
Aw,
They'll leave your keys right by the door
that's very trustworthy.
outside.
That's very trustworthy.
And you'll get a great night's sleep. So, for our listeners, you can go to ubersleep.com/thick and you can get 50% off your first order of an Uber Sleep driver. That's ubersleep.com/thick.
Ubersleep.com/thick. All right.
So thank you, Uber Sleep, for sponsoring the podcast. Huge shouts out to you and helping us get good night's sleep.
So this week, thank you very much for that ad read.
Just keep going.
This week, for our segment Childhood Chats, we were talking about Kobe, get on up here and join us, pal. We're talking about the year 2004. So that year for me, well, I was in like second grade, and Carlos, you were in.
Third and fourth grade.
Third
Do you
and
want me to go
fourth grade.
first this time? You went first last time.
Yeah, you go ahead while I try and calm down the.
Chances are yours is more entertaining anyways,
Aw.
so I'd rather go with the best for last. So the year is 2004.
You're gross.
I am in third grade. Yeah, I was in third grade at this point, not fourth grade. And a little bit of reference. I had a lot of anger issues as a child.
Aw.
I got very upset very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, kids tend to do that.
Yeah. And so every morning before school, my brother and I would, we would wake up, start our days, and then we would walk to school together. Because in 3rd grade, him and I still went to the same elementary school. He was in 5th grade.
Okay, that's nice.
So, I would get up really early. I was a morning kid where, like, I'd wake up, let's say I didn't have to leave for school till, like, 7:30. I'd wake up at, like, 5 for whatever reason and just be like, yay, I'm up, ready for the day.
Yeah. I pulled that all the time though. I would stay with my grandparents and it would be like 4:30 a.m. and I'm like, I'm ready for times.
Yeah, like I would.
Where's the newspaper, Papa?
I would get up and I would like constantly check on my parents to see if they were up, and they wouldn't be. And I would even just like try to make noises. Like I'd go in their room and I'd just like knock shit off their counters or whatever. Just so
you light their hair on fire. You're like, are you up yet? It's getting real hot.
So I was a morning person. My brother was not.
Yeah.
And even in high school, I would have to wake him up. So I always had to wake him up for school. And so on this particular morning, he was taking his sweet ass time.
Mm-hmm.
I had already had my breakfast. I had already gotten ready for school. He was having his breakfast a little late, and then I'm looking at my watch that I didn't have. I was just checking on the time, and I was like, "We gotta go, all right? Listen up. I gotta get to school. I gotta talk to the ladies.
Casio.
I gotta talk to the ladies. I gotta play on the playground before it's time to learn." And my brother was like, all right, well, before we go, I got to go to the bathroom. Granted, we were already running late, okay?
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, we were probably early, but like...
To a kid, you're just like, everything's not on time.
Everything's not on time. Everything's urgent. So he goes to the bathroom, and I just, for whatever reason, I just lose it. I am so upset that we're already running late, and he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom now. And so I just start like kicking the door. I just start like wailing on the door, like, we gotta go. Like, my brother
just imagining a little you pissed off.
Yeah, like
motherfucker.
2003, what was I, like 8 years old, 7 years old, and I'm just like kicking the door, throwing a fit.
Yeah.
And yeah, that didn't go over well.
How do you react?
Well, he reacted like whatever. Like he just gave me
He's just
shit.
like, I'm literally shitting. like, I could not give a dump. Like, this is happening. Do it.
Like it wasn't so much about his reaction. It was after he had told my parents that I kicked the door repeatedly. Oh God.
They're just like, Roger, we got Carlos yet again.
So he told my parents, justifiably so.
Yeah.
He ain't no snitch, but like, come on, I was kicking the door, like I was being shit. It's you gotta tell someone about that.
Yeah.
My dad just like grounded me, and this was terrible because this was around the time that Super Smash Bros. Brawl Melee on the GameCube was like pretty new, and so I couldn't play GameCube because I was grounded.
Yeah.
I say I was grounded for forever. It was probably a week or a weekend.
You're just like, I'm counting on 24/7.
But I was like, this is the worst. And like,
I am crying.
I couldn't play Super Smash Bros. I was grounded, and all because I just wanted to start wailing on a door because my brother needed to go to the bathroom. So.
Well,
that's my childhood chat.
At least you learned your lesson.
Yeah, I no longer kick doors whenever my brother has to go to the bathroom. So
a little stabby stab.
You live a little stabby stab. You live and you learn.
See, I think we were both kind of a bit more hostile. I think everyone was a bit more hostile as a kid because my story involves my first detention. My first and only detention.
Ooh, bad boy Andy.
Bad boy Andy. Bad news Andy.
If I had the editing capabilities, I would just put a bunch of flames around you right now, put a leather jacket, some sunglasses.
Just at least lower the sunglasses onto my eyes right now.
Let's see. We'll put it on a static shot of you, see if I can get it.
Yes.
Bad boy Andy. We'll see if I have the editing capabilities. Probably not, but we'll see.
Don't bump the camera, don't bump the camera. Oh my
God. Go around. Go around. Go around the other way.
She's like, I don't know what you want from me.
Alright. Come here.
Come on.
You've come just in time for Andy's childhood chat. Get up here. Come on. You're so big and you don't know how to get on top of a couch. Oh my God.
Kobe literally dog piles and...
Why is this a thing now? Just sit. Just sit. Just sit. Good girl.
Dad!
Alright, go ahead.
So, I was in second grade in 2004. And second grade is the instance where I got my first and only detention. It's going to take a little bit to get there. Context. Second grade, you're learning a lot of new words.
Like poop.
Or bitch.
Yeah, right.
That's the word that I had started to be like, I'm keeping this one for the archives. Like, I don't know the full context or the misogynistic tones behind it or anything. I'm just gonna use it.
No!
So, I'm out on the playground, as kids do. And we're playing, and there was this one annoying classmate. I'm just going to refer to her by her first name.
I actually know her name.
What is it?
I don't want to out her, but it starts with a K and it ends with a Y.
No, very close though.
Oh.
I think it's the long form. It's just.
Oh.
Yep. I use. No.
Jessica Jones?
Jessica Jones! Breaking Bad alum! So, this person, who I just said her name, and then now I'm going to ask you to bleep it, just in case.
I'll probably forget.
That's
but
fine.
We'll
It's the Thick Boys Media Podcast. Girl, you need to sit!
Although, will I have to bleep out Jessica Jones in Breaking Bad too? Because
No.
people will just deduce it.
They can deduce it, but maybe we have, I don't know.
Whatever. Go ahead.
One. So, this person is being a rather annoying human and is saying, you can blah, blah, blah. When
What
I'm
did she
like,
say to you?
So I'm like on this, I think I'm on like the teeter-totter, right?
The teeter-totter.
And just me and my pals are just teeter-tottering. And she goes, you guys aren't allowed to do that. Like, because we're like, messing around. We're like, jig-jogging. Down. Down.
She's good. I think. Alright, go ahead. Continue your story. Alright, get off. Oh my God.
The air! So, it's second grade. I'm just learning new words, such as the B word. The B word. The B word. I'm out on the playground, and I don't remember the full context as to why this person felt the need to tell me what I was doing was not allowed. Because she's younger than me, she's trying to boss me around. And I'm like, dog, we're all 8 years old. Like, know our place. We're on the bottom. We're not hot shit. We don't need to be ratting each other out. She doesn't get the hierarchy here. She's like, I'm better. So, starts threatening to tell the worst administrative aide that the school has, because everyone disliked this person. She was this teacher person. She wasn't a teacher. She was this teacher person. Well, but it was always like, oh, she's always so strict type of thing. Like you ever have those where you're just like when you were in middle school and you're just like, I don't want to have to deal with this person because they're so mean.
Right.
That's that type of teacher. So the childhood employee is threatening. Uh-huh. Is threatening to tell, and I'm just like, can we not? Can we chill? And it's just like, you broke the rules, so I'm gonna tell. And so I'm just like, You're a bitch.
You're very calmly too. Like instead of being a classic, like what were you?
Well,
7?
I'm not going to yell it. I'm literally on the concrete of the playground. And so we're standing in line about to go in, and she's threatening me with this empty thing. And she's like, ah. And so she goes and tells me, not on the first thing, but on the B word. And I'm just like, fair. But also, what the fuck?
But also, you're still a bitch.
Yeah. My second grade opinion still remains. So I kind of freak out, and then, like, you know, when you're a kid, you're just like, oh, I messed up. So you're just like, no, I'm sorry. That doesn't matter.
Your parents know you did this?
Yes.
Wow.
Here's the thing. So
Steve and Sue would be...
Yes. This story started out as my first detention. This is not how I got that detention. Yeah. Teacher told my second grade teacher. Teacher sent me home, like handed me a letter to hand to my parents to make sure that I was like okay. I totally opened that letter and read it, and it makes reference, and I was just like, you used the B word, like
the B word.
Like I'm reading through it, not a single reference to a detention. That was like the biggest fear of mine growing up. Yeah. And just like, man, my closest brother has never gotten a detention, and he's 5 years older than me. Like, if I get one now, I'm the fuck up.
Bad boy
Andy. So, I'm like, alright, I fucking beat the system, yo. I used the biggest card I had, and I got away with it. I can commit tax fraud tomorrow and be chill. Like, like, I'm just like, alright, I got this. No problem. Little do I know that later on, you know, in the year, I'm still having a little trouble learning how to tell time.
How to tell time?
Yeah, I can read a digital clock, no problem.
Okay.
But you know, the hands can be a little difficult. And you're just like, I know this amount of space means 5 minutes on a hand clock. Uh-huh. But I forgot which way meant which way. Well, the buses leave shortly after 3 p.m. And I was back at my cubby area packing up a little later, and all the other students had left by that point. And I was like, ooh, I gotta get going. So I start going down the hall, and it gets, like, you ever get in a stretch of a hallway and you're just like, no one's here? People can't really tell, like, what's happening. So I'm gonna do a little running. So I start to run.
Oh my god.
I run down the hall, and the librarian, who had it out for me, because I think she didn't like my oldest siblings, pretty sure it was like a reverse nepotism here. She's like, I hated Joe.
Those Phillips boys.
Those Phillips boys and then the two older siblings who have no connection to that last name. This librarian felt the need to say, Andy, what have I told you before? And I said,
and you were like, bitch, you ain't said shit.
I'm invincible. No, I said, about what? And she said, about running. That's a detention. Before I could even justify why I was running, sent me off and said, we're going to take care of it tomorrow. Sends me off to the bus walking in tears. Yeah, like, I hope you feel good making an 8-year-old cry.
And then and looked at you and were like, why are you crying like a bitch?
Like a bitch. So, yeah.
There you go.
That was my first detention. Bogus as hell.
I actually had in second grade, I had a somewhat similar story.
Mm-hmm.
This girl was like, I don't remember. I think she was like cutting in line when we were getting ready to go to lunch. And I was like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Those aren't the rules. You got to get to the back.
Them's not the rules.
And she was like complaining or some shit. And so I was like,
hit the bricks.
Stop whining.
That's all?
That's all I said to her. And she told the teacher that I said, stop whining. And at the time in second grade, we had like this star system on our desk where like if you did something bad,
crayons,
you had like a star taken away. And at the end of the week, your parents were given a report on how many stars you had, or you were rewarded somewhat. And I remember like the teacher like was like, did you tell her to stop whining? And I was like, well, I meant like the drink. Like, don't stop whining. And the teacher's like, all right, well, you're an idiot. Like, obviously she didn't say that. But in her head, she was like, I don't know why you thought that would work. Which, thinking back, like, whining isn't even that bad of a thing to say.
No.
It was enough for her to take a star from me, and then my mom was like, why'd you have a star taken away? Because, like, every little thing that I did...
That's your one infraction ever! Like, tell us why you deserved it!
Well, it's just like, I think I ended up telling her, like, I just didn't do homework. Because I didn't have the heart to tell her that I looked a young lady in the face and said, stop whining. So...
It seems like I've heard adults say that.
Yeah,
to kids of that age.
Yeah, my parents would say that to me because I would whine about random shit, and so I got it from them. That like, yeah, because you know what?
No, it's not a bad thing.
Fair enough, though. I did say it with the intention to upset her because it always upset me when my parents were like, stop whining. Because I'm like, I'm not whining. I'd say in a whiny voice, you know? So maybe it wasn't about the word. Maybe it was more about the intention.
That's true. And I definitely had intent whenever I had used that specific word.
When you called a bitch.
So now we're just not bleeping the name anymore because that's way too much work. We're just like, what was her name? So on that note, we come to our second sponsor of today. Today's episode of Thick Boys Media Podcast is brought to you by the word spunk. I like it a lot. It's a good word. Spunk. It's a good one.
The producers didn't fill me in on this one.
The word spunk is great. The word spunk is great, and it's also co-sponsored by our sponsor from last week, Micro Penises. Micro Penises, don't forget, the luncheon, brunchin, gotta love it, unshin, is coming up on September 7th, so keep it in your Google Calendar. Right. So thank you to Spunk, and hope to see more.
Is that not a product, or just the word in general?
It's the word. It's the word. Spread it around.
Thank you, Spunk.
Spread Spunk.
Thank you, Spunk, for sponsoring the Thick Boys podcast.
So, Carlos, a little birdie, aka us, told me that we have something coming up. In terms of a special little video we may be doing tomorrow.
Yes. So
tell the viewers what we got.
So we're going to the Springfield State Fair.
Yeah, that's correct.
My first time going to the Springfield State Fair. Should be a lot of fun.
It should be.
And we're going to bring our camera. We're going to record some stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time. And we'll finish out the podcast by showing the video.
Yeah.
We'll also have the video as a separate thing.
And I think either next week or in another future episode, we're going to do a reaction to a fair video I did in high school.
Ooh.
To the same fair. And boy, oh boy, that one's going to be a kicker because that one... Oh, Me Too movement. Pow!
Oh my God.
It's not that bad.
All right. Well,
but it's like,
you've
aged, and thankfully goodness.
Thank you for watching this week's video. And enjoy the video of the Springfield State Fair.
Before we leave, one last Twitter draft of the week coming right up. And that one is, I think to myself 29 times a day, man, once I'm hot, it's over for y'all.
That's true.
So on that note, thank you very much for being with us. This has been Thick Boys Media Podcast, episode 2, and we look forward to many more. Stick with us and contribute towards our Patreon that doesn't exist. Thanks, Tom Hanks.
It's a tuna.
Get as good angles as mostly the butt. And that,
Focus!
that face. Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Howdy, Poppy.
Hi.
It'll look bad.
There's a process to these curls. I hope it looks better because then I'm gonna be lying.
Hi! Time to go.
Time to go.
It's my friends. Over copyrighted music. God damn it, Andy. Look at them go. Goodbye. Is this on autofocus? Let's see. I hope they give me a donut and any size coffee for. No. That'd be nice. Well, they got a bag and copyrighted music. Let's see what they get. I think that's water. What else?
It's French water.
It's fancy water, dude.
Heavy on.
We're French now.
Copywritten.
Oh, that's right.
Is it might just bang into the mic?
Hey, stop making love to this mic.
Hey. It looks like the city came to Babe today.